church here in Pesena?
I am the bishop, current the bishop of Pesena First Ward, here in the Pesena Samoa State.
And have you lived here long in Pesena?
Yes, we've been here over 40 years, but I grew up just a mile from here, down at Lepea. We grew up there.
So you were born in
Lepea, right.
At the time, was your family members of the church?
Yes, I was born and raised in the church.
Would you tell us a little bit about growing up in Lepea?
There were four of us. My older brother Alvin and me and my two sisters we grew up at Lepea. We just lived just by the river at Lepea, and we came to Pesena for church. My parents were members of the church. My dad baptized my mother into the church, and we walked from Lepea to here at Pesena to go to school. My other siblings went to government school up at Leififi and Vaivase. They attended there, which my dad worked for a company in town called H&J Retzlaff or Telefoni in Samoa. Worked there as a clerk, and ended up as a wholesale manager, and he managed to started a taxi business. Started with 2 or 3 taxis, and as we moved here to Pesena, he had about 11 taxis at the time we came here, and that's where he got all the funding and to build this home of us, and my siblings all went overseas for schooling, like to New Zealand and to the States. And never came back. Well, they started their families over there. They came back here to visit with their families. It's been a while since they left. As said before, I served a mission here in Samoa in the early 70s, and came home and started working. And then went over working for Polynesian Airlines, and went over to New Zealand, where I met my wife, Samoan girl, but she was born and raised in New Zealand. We moved here after we got married in April of 1986. We have 3 children. Right now, my family are currently living in Auckland, New Zealand, as my other daughter is sick. So I've been staying alone here at my parents' house here at Pesena, and working. I have a little business going with a lawn mowing business, and hiring of tents, tables and chairs to the general public, which to keep our family going and make a living for ourselves. I'm currently busy with my calling in the church, and spending every Tuesday morning working at the temple as an ordinance worker.
change that you've seen in the church from when you were growing up in India to what it is now, you being involved as the bishop of
the church has changed tremendously with a lot of membership. A lot of people see the church is growing in numbers. A lot has joined the church from those early years, because we had just a little branch at the time, because my dad was branch president, and then ended up being the first bishop of the Pesena First Ward when the first stake was organized by Elder Maki Peterson of the Quorum of the 12. And in those days, there were not too many members. There was only one stake. But from then on, from 1962, from then on till right now, it's over 40 years, and we now have a stake of Pesena, because in those days there were only two wards, only the first ward and the second ward, Pesena second ward. Right now we have 10 units, 10 wards in our stake, which makes us one of the growing, one of the biggest stake here in island of Upolu, probably in Samoa.
Now, you told us that you used to walk from Lepea.
Yes.
How long would that take you?
That will only take a few minutes, say about 7-8 minutes. Yeah.
How long does it take to walk to your chapel?
Well,
20 seconds?
yeah, 20 seconds just from here. Because the chapel, the old chapel that used to be, it's over on the other side where the temple is at. We just cross the road and go to the chapel over there.
You said your father, was he also born into the church, or was
Yeah, he was born in the church.
So were his parents converts? How far back does your father's line go in the church?
Well, he grew up in the church because his mother, her name is Moy Ah Ching. She was strong in the church, and I didn't get to see my grandfather, but I heard that he was a part of the church too in those days. But Ah Ching was a Chinese man from, I heard was from Canton, who came here with other Chinese people to help the people over here to with a lot of they were laborers over here in Samoa, and then of course married to Samoan ladies over here and started their own family. But he was the one that from those days was helping a lot with feeding the missionaries, and his name was Huiha Aching. It was the name of the Chinese man that came, married my great grandmother from Sala'ilua in Savai. And then all grew up, started, bought a land over at Lepea, and then I still have an uncle staying over there, the land owned by the Aching family, while my parents moved here and bought this land from another Chinese man that gave the church the land. His name is Amu. This is all Amu land, here and across the road. So next door to us is the Kyle family, because they are descendants from that family, the Amu.
So were you living in Obesing at the time that the temple burned down?
Yes, we were still here, but I wasn't here.
Oh, okay.
We were vacationing in Orlando, where my brother lives at the time.
Can you maybe describe, I guess, the effect that you thought that event had maybe on saints, was maybe how the church maybe was viewed by non-members as well? Just if there's any kind of significant impact.
Well, when we came, after a week later, when the temple was burned to the ground, there was a lot of the saints were down with because what I heard, they were crying on that same evening when the temple was burned, and of course some of the non-members thought different. They thought that it's because of the temple. How come it got burnt, and can't they were saying about the statue of the angel Moroni, but the angel wasn't burnt, but they were saying, can he save the temple from burning? And there were a lot of questions asked by especially the media about what started the fire. Up until today, we just don't know what happened, where it started, and who started it. But we were interviewed by the people from Salt Lake, although we weren't here at the time. But when we heard the news, we were so down, thinking, whatever happened, who did this? And as we know, the early temple in Nauvoo was burned by the mobs, but this is the only temple, the second temple, but we don't know what happened, and we don't know who started the fire. They offered a lot of money but still it didn't help. But like I said, the church has been growing with the saints here in Samoa. More and more people join the church as compared to the early days.
What hardships did members of the church have in the early days that they may or may not have today? What changes have there?
Well, the hardships is through education and through finding jobs, because in those days, if you don't have an English last name, that's the government school, you can't get into school. You need to have an European last name to go to school with government. And in those days, people were poor, and with the church starting helping out with the schools here in Pesenga, Sauniatu, of course, Bayola in Savai, and some elementary schools over at Vailutai and Lotofanga back in island of Upolu. The hardships of the saints were to to go to school and to further their education to get good jobs, to support their families. Because of the early missionaries who came not as proselyting missionaries, but they came as construction members. Most of them from the States, or Palangi from the States. They were the ones that helped a lot of members of the church, Samoan young men, to learn how to be good builders and be carpenters. I think that was the other main reason that has helped a lot of the young men here in Samoa going through 2 or 3 years on construction. With in those days there was only one construction. It was only the LDS construction. In those days they were building a lot of chapels, and then there were a lot of they hired a lot of laborers, which are church members, and from then on they learned how to be good workers and to find good jobs and further their education to go to New Zealand. That's the other thing. They started moving to overseas, especially to New Zealand, not much to the States, because it's hard to work in the U.S. But people started moving to American Samoa, and then from Tutuila to Honolulu and further to the mainland. But people from here, they migrated to New Zealand and started their families there. And when they retired, they started to come back here. But most of them just stayed in New Zealand and make New Zealand their home, their second home. But they keep coming in Christmas time to visit the families.
And you said that a lot of your family members moved across seas, right? Like your brothers and...
Yes.
What made you want to stay here in Samoa? I know you lived in Orlando for a little while, but why did you come back?
What made me the decision for me to stay here? As I was single at the time, I looked at my parents. I said, "So who will look after our property?" And now, so I offered, "Okay, I'll stay here, and I'll look after our property, and while you guys move over there." Of course, the reason of migrating to the U.S. because most of my siblings went there. Of course, they went to BYU Hawaii, and then moved over to the mainland. And they started to ask my parents to move there, and which it was okay for me, but I volunteered to stay behind and look after the place. And then after about 4 or 5 months, I told them that I was getting married in New Zealand, and I also asked my wife to be, if she would want to come and live in Samoa, which she said yes, she'll come and try the life here in Samoa. And although it was hard, but in the end, she didn't want to go to New Zealand. The only reason why she's there is because of our sick daughter. That made me the decision to. From then on, I know all my family are U.S. citizens except for a brother and a sister. They got their what you call green cards. But my parents are all U.S. citizens. But they come and go. But I'm still holding down the fort.
As you were growing up in your life, like you mentioned different callings that you had, and a bishop right now, you've been a leader for quite some time. How have you seen the Lord's hand in your life preparing you for these leadership positions?
I would think the Lord has blessed me a lot through many callings. As I was a clerk of our ward for many years. When I came home serving my mission, I was called. That's where I started. And of course, going to work, try to help out with my dad's taxi business, and also from going to school, because that's the other main thing. We had that program in school in our last year as a 2 weeks preparation, where when the school is out for 2 weeks, we go out to serve, trying to be like missionaries. So that was another a big help for my spiritual life. Was going through that, and after serving my last year in school, and when after graduation, I only waited for 2 weeks and then went straight to. Just went across the mission home, and of course in those days there wasn't an MTC to go for 2 or 3 weeks. Just go straight to the mission field, to the mission home, and then they assign you to your first area. But of course, those days we learned a lot through our class in school, preparing to. We had to memorize the discussions in school, and then practice during the 2 weeks mission. So from then on, I think it helped me a lot with my position in the church. And after seeing my dad serve as a bishop himself, and also serving as a member of the High Council, and serve as a stake counselor to the stake president.
What was one of the most memorable experiences from your mission that you can remember?
Well, we were serving Alisa, not far from here. We came home. I mean, we came to church that morning with my companion, a Samoan guy from American Samoa. As we came on the bus, because the family we stayed with owns a bus business. So we came on our way to church. The bus was driving too fast, driven by one of members of the family, and it went to the sides and went to the side, and then almost turned over, landed on the wheels facing up. I thought we were gone. I thought when that happened, but nothing happened to us, to me and my companion, and just a few scratches from other members of the family. We're all have ties and Sunday best going to church. I think from then on, I thought there's a lot for me, because we knew it was a bad accident, but the bus, of course, was totaled. But like I said, there was only some minor scratches. I think the Lord protected us from that accident, and I think that was a memorable day for me and my companion, which I met him about 2 months ago at the temple. I didn't know him. He didn't recognize me because he was bald, and we were going through the initiatory, and he heard the last name, and all of a sudden he hugged me, and he told me his name. I looked at him, Sole. After so many years, after over 30 years now we met. Look what a nice place to meet, at the Lord's house. Yeah, he told me he had a lot of ups and downs in his life. Now he's back to church, so it was good. We went to Walisa and visit the curve that where the accident actually happened. Well, it was a good experience for us.
You shared a lot with us tonight, and we're just wrapping things up. We'd like to ask you if there's any other stories or experiences that you've been thinking of that you would like to share that we have not brought up
yet. The two cyclones. The first one was Feb of 1990, Cyclone Offa. I was the first counselor to our bishop at the time, and it was bad, and we had to help a lot of members, bring them to the chapel, because at Vaitoloa, where a lot of members were at, their homes were damaged, and the roofs were gone, so we had to help them a lot. And of course the church sent supplies from across from Salt Lake to help out, and we helped to distribute and also to put up tarpaulins for them. And the second cyclone was Val in December of 1991, which was not too far from the first one. I thought it must be the end of the world, because Offa was only for 2 days, I think, 2 days, or just over 2 days. But Val, it was Monday morning. We thought that it's over. So we took a ride to town, but then it came back very strong and took the roof of our patio and most of the roofing iron on top of our house. But we had some members of our ward. We had to call them to come here, but then our house was we just couldn't hold on to, because I guess the windows, the wind was coming, and the roofing iron was just flying all the way to most of the families back there. So it was so bad, and I was the bishop. I was staying as a bishop, I was a bishop for 4 months when that happened. And the stake president told me that I needed to go and look for families for help, and I said to the president, I need to take care of my house too. Because there was only one room that was left that was the water didn't go in, was my kids' room, but excuse me, all the other rooms were wet, and it was sad, but it was through prayers and fasting that I then got some funds to rebuild our home, because we had to do a lot of repairs to this house, because this is an old house, but we keep on repairing because it belongs to my parents. That was another turning point, was those two cyclones. I've seen it, and my kids have seen it. It was bad. I thought it was the end of the world. I keep telling, why Samoa again? It wasn't that far since the Offa was here in Feb of 1990. Now it came back in December of the following year. So we hope. There was another cyclone in 2001, Cyclone Heta, but it wasn't that bad as those two long ones, Opha and Val.
Thank you for sharing everything with us. And in closing, we would just like to ask you if you could bear with us your testimony.
Yeah. Like I was trying to tell you, my dear friends, that as I grew up in the church and served mission and served a lot of callings in the church, the Lord has blessed me, and my testimony has been strengthened. Also, just want to pay tribute to my parents for all their hard work and their support, and to my dear wife, which helped me a lot with a lot of decisions in life. And I know that the church is true. On Sundays, if I get sick on Saturday, I would always, because I know this is a good time to go to church and serve the Lord. So I'll always get our family together, and that's the other thing in our family, not to be late to church. Why? Because we're right there. So if people sees us coming late, that's not good. Let's strengthen our families with the church, with so many blessings. We may not have a lot in life, but I tell you, we have been thoroughly blessed by the Lord in so many ways. And I know without a doubt in my mind that the church is true. I keep telling this to many people of our world. If this church was a church owned by people, or if it wasn't the Lord's church, it wouldn't have come this far. Because I knew this is the Lord's church. It has grown tremendously in Samoa and in many other countries in the world. So that's how I strengthen my testimony of the church. Thank you.